The rain started soft, like it was trying not to bother anyone. But by the time Nia stepped out of the rideshare and onto the sidewalk, it was coming down hard, cold drops hitting her coat, running down her cheeks, mixing with the tears she wasn't ready to admit were there. She stood outside the restaurant for a moment, blinking fast. "Don't do this. Don't cry," she whispered to herself. Inside, people were laughing, families were clinking glasses, couples leaned close like the world didn't exist outside their booth. And Nia, she was there to meet her fiancé, the man she'd loved longer than she should have, the man she'd defended more than she should have, the man she'd tolerated, even when her heart was begging her to stop. She opened the door and stepped inside. The warmth hit her first, and then she saw him, Marcus, sitting at a corner table like he owned the place. No smile, no excitement, no, "Hey baby, I missed you," just his usual bored expression. He looked up at her like she was late for a job interview. "You're soaking wet," he said. Nia forced a small laugh, sliding into the seat across from him. "Yeah, it's raining." Marcus didn't offer her his jacket, didn't ask if she was okay, didn't even pretend to be kind. He just sat there, tapping his fingers on the table like he couldn't wait for the conversation to be over. So why did her stomach still tighten like she was afraid of him? Nia took a breath.
"What's going on? You sounded serious on the phone."
"I'm just not feeling this anymore."
"What?"
"This relationship, the engagement, all of it."
"Marcus, are you serious?"
"I'm serious. I'm done."
"You're breaking up with me?"
I mean, I don't want to drag it out. It's not working.
"But we already planned the wedding. My family, your family, the deposits."
"You're too emotional. That's part of the problem. Everything's always so deep with you."
"You've been treating me like I don't matter. I've been trying, Marcus, I've been trying."
"Well, I'm not obligated to stay because you're trying."
Her chest tightened, like someone had wrapped a rope around her ribs and pulled. And suddenly, she remembered all the moments she'd excused. The way he'd criticize her voice when she got excited. The way he'd mock her perfume business like it was a little hobby. The way he never showed up when she needed him. The way he'd turn cold for days when she asked for love and reassurance. And she had stayed anyway, because she thought love meant endurance. She swallowed hard. "So that's it? You're just leaving?" Marcus stood up, pulling his wallet out. "Yeah, that's it, and I'm leaving." Nia's heart hit the floor. He was breaking her in pieces and couldn't even give her the courtesy of facing her while doing it. Marcus tossed cash on the table. "I hope you find what you're looking for." And then he walked away, just like that. No apology, no closure, no warmth. Only the sound of his footsteps disappearing while her whole world sat there, bleeding. Nia stayed at the table for a long time. She couldn't move. She couldn't think. She couldn't even cry properly. Her body felt numb, like her tears were stuck behind a locked door. When she finally stood up, her legs felt weak, like she had to relearn how to walk. She stepped outside into the rain again, and this time, she didn't fight the tears. She let them come, right there on the sidewalk. She didn't care who saw her, because she was exhausted. Exhausted from being strong. Exhausted from hoping he would change. Exhausted from shrinking herself just to be tolerated. She wrapped her arms around herself and whispered through trembling lips, "God, why did you let this happen?" The rain answered her instead. Or maybe it wasn't the rain. Maybe it was God saying, "Because you were never meant to stay there." The first week after Marcus left was ugly. Nia didn't post on social media. She didn't answer calls. She didn't go to events. She stayed in her apartment staring at her ceiling like it had answers. Sometimes she replayed the breakup. Sometimes she replayed the whole relationship. And sometimes she asked herself the question that haunted her most. What was wrong with me? But then, one night, she sat on the edge of her bed with her Bible open, not because she felt strong, but because she felt desperate. Her voice was quiet when she prayed. God, I don't know how to start over. And for the first time in months, her heart felt a little lighter after she said it. That Sunday, she forced herself to go to church. She didn't dress up like she usually did. She didn't smile. She just walked in with her pain and found a seat in the back. The worship started, and when the choir began to sing about God restoring what was lost, Nia broke. Not a cute little tear, a real, ugly cry. Her shoulders shook, her chest heaved, her face crumpled. Because she finally realized she wasn't just grieving Marcus, she was grieving the version of herself that accepted less than she deserved. After service, she tried to slip out quickly, but the pastor's wife caught her at the door. Nia, sweetheart, are you okay? Nia wanted to lie, but the truth fell out instead. No, I'm really not. The pastor's wife hugged her like she'd known her forever. You're going to be okay, she whispered. God has a way of closing doors that were slowly killing us. Nia nodded, wiping her tears. And that's when she heard a voice behind her. Excuse me, do you sell perfume? Nia turned around. A man stood there. Tall, calm, clean-cut. He looked like he had peace in his eyes. Not arrogance, not ego, just steadiness. Yes, she replied slowly. I do. He smiled. I noticed your scent during worship, he said with a polite chuckle. It's incredible. What is it? Nia blinked, caught off guard. No man had ever spoken to her like that. Like she was interesting. Like she was worth paying attention to. It's one of my blends, she said. I make custom fragrances. That's amazing, he said sincerely. Do you have a card? Nia reached into her purse and pulled out a small business card. He took it carefully, like it mattered. My name's Elijah, he said, extending his hand. She shook it. Nia. Elijah nodded. It's nice to meet you, Nia. I'd love to be a partner. I'll do all the funding. Support. Become a partner. Not compete with it, not mock it. Support it. Nia smiled for the first time in months. Thank you, she said quietly. Elijah hesitated. And if you ever need help setting up a website or marketing, I do that for a living. No pressure. Nia's eyebrows raised. She laughed a little. Are you real? Elijah smiled. I promise I'm real. Elijah didn't rush her, he didn't push, he didn't make her feel like she had to earn affection. He just showed up. He bought her perfumes. He referred clients. He helped her build an online store. He taught her how to structure her business like a brand, not a hustle. He prayed with her, not the kind of prayer that sounded like a performance, the kind that sounded like protection. One night, while they were packing orders on her living room floor, Nia paused and looked at him. You know, she said softly, my ex used to laugh at this. Elijah's hands slowed. He looked up. Laugh at what? This, she said, gesturing around. My perfume business. He used to call it a side thing, like it was nothing. Elijah's face didn't change, but his voice did. It got warmer, more serious. Nia, this is not nothing. Her throat tightened. This is your gift, he continued, and I'm proud of you. Nia stared at him, because no one had ever said those words to her and meant them, and for the first time she realized something powerful. Love wasn't supposed to feel like survival. Months passed. Her business grew. Orders increased. Customers started posting her perfumes online. Influencers started asking for collaborations. Then Nia did something she had been afraid to do for years. She enrolled back in school. It wasn't easy, working late nights, studying early mornings, balancing the pressure.
There were moments she wanted to quit, moments she sat crying at the kitchen table with textbooks open, exhausted beyond words. But Elijah would sit beside her, quiet, steady. "You're not quitting," he'd say. Nia would sniffle. "You don't understand. This is hard." Elijah would nod. "I know it's hard." Then he'd smile. "But you're harder." And somehow, she kept going. Years later, Nia walked across a stage in a cap and gown, holding her medical degree, her hands trembling with gratitude. Her now husband Elijah stood at the front with flowers bigger than her body, and when she stepped into his arms, she whispered, "I can't believe we made it." Elijah kissed her. "Yes," he said, "because God told me you would." Dr. Nia Carter. That was her name now. Not the woman who cried in the rain. Not the woman who begged for love from a man who couldn't give it. She was a doctor. One day, after a session with a client, she walked out of the building and saw Elijah leaning against her car, smiling, holding her favorite coffee.
You know you don't have to keep doing this.
I know.
He handed it to her anyway. "I want to." Nia looked at him with soft eyes. She wore her wedding ring now, the one Marcus never got to see, because Marcus had left her thinking she would fall apart, but God had other plans. Elijah touched her hand gently. "I'm proud of you," he said. Nia smiled, and with all the peace in her heart, she said, "I used to think losing him was the worst thing that ever happened to me." Elijah raised an eyebrow. "And now?" Nia looked up at the sky, then back at Elijah. "Now I know it was the beginning of everything."
She squeezed his hand. God rejected what I settled for, so he could give me what I deserved. And Elijah smiled. That's how he does it. Nia leaned into him. The rain started again, light and soft, but this time she didn't feel like she was drowning. This time it felt like heaven watering her new life. Moral lessons. Sometimes rejection is just God removing what you were too loyal to leave. Rejection is sometimes God's protection. Tolerating disrespect teaches people how to treat you. Some people don't leave because they hate you. They leave because you're rising. God doesn't just restore, He upgrades. Healing doesn't start when you feel strong. Healing starts when you get honest. The right person won't compete with your purpose.